call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Welcome everybody, and
the meeting is being recorded live. So for your information, it's 6:05, I believe, is when we began.
Welcome everybody. Sorry for the slightly late start. We're going to deviate from our agenda a little bit today, since we have some very kind and valuable guests here. We'll start with public comment.
Okay, so should we start with Nadala? Would you like to go first?
My name is Nadal Nevin. I'm with a company called The Firm, and we are a general contractor in Porter County. We also provide board-up services. Lots of people don't know what a board-up service is, but essentially we will board up houses after a fire or a crash, something that makes it unsafe for the community. Boarding up a house is something that is legally required a fire department to do before they leave the scene. Okay. In Porter County, for what I believe is the last 10 years, has been operating in which they've allowed a monopoly to exist. One company, and only one company, has been allowed to provide those services without any type of bidding or any type of other companies coming in to be allowed to do that. This has been a very long and hard battle for not just my company, but several other local companies. So because of that, we have solicited help from mayors as well as the county council. The county council did approve and pass a county ordinance in which gives very strict stipulations as to what's required of a board-up company, the application process, even down to we have to submit background checks for the people that are going to be going to it. As of right now, Porter County does have a board-up list, and that ordinance is in operation. Currently, right now, that has caused some problems within the fire service, and some of the fire departments are deciding not to follow the county ordinance. So I would just ask that you guys, as a township, which is in Porter County, would abide by that county ordinance, which I think is legally required. This is something that we don't want to come to bring up, but it's something that clearly has to be brought up.
And what is the name of the current board-up company that you allege is operating under a monopoly? Do you know?
I think your chief will be able to answer that.
But I asked you.
Yeah, I know what it is, and I would suggest that maybe we spend 3 minutes and then have a rebuttal, and then for the public comment, and then we can do that after we get them to present that, if it's okay with you. Okay. Chairman?
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other public comment that we'd like to add?
I'll let Hunter read what we came up with. Yeah, I brought it down. So here's an official letter drafted by the fire department that we'll read aloud to you guys. Here's a copy for everyone. So concern regarding unrequested vendor self-dispatch to the Union Township fire scene. Dear members of the Board of Commissioners and Union Township trustees, on behalf of the Union Volunteer Fire Department, we are writing to formally document and request your attention regarding an incident that occurred during a recent fire in Union Township. During this incident, a private firm self-dispatched to the fire scene without being requested by the homeowner, the fire department, or Porter County 911. Upon their arrival, representatives of the firm were politely informed that their services were not needed and were asked to leave the scene. They refused to do so. As a result, law enforcement was requested. Prior to law enforcement making contact with them, the representative from the firm left the immediate scene to engage with nearby family members. It's important to note that the homeowner had already requested emergency board-up services, specifically requesting 1-800 board-up. This information was properly relayed via dispatch prior to the firm's arrival through Porter County 911. As such, the firm was both unrequested and unwelcome on the scene at that time. This conduct appears to be in direct conflict with the Board of Commissioners policy regarding vendors responding to emergency scenes without authorization. While we have no objection to legitimate emergency board-up services when properly requested, we are concerned with what we perceive as poaching-like tactics, particularly the practice of approaching homeowners immediately following a traumatic event and having them sign contracts under duress. Several homeowners have expressed concern to our fire department after realizing they had unknowingly signed contracts that assigned portions of their insurance claim for services beyond emergency board-up. These situations place residents in vulnerable positions at a time when they are not prepared to fully understand the implications of such agreements or contracts. Out of concerns for the residents we serve, we respectfully request that the issue be addressed by the Board of Commissioners and/or trustees. Specifically, we ask that the firms responding to fire scenes be limited to providing only emergency board-up services when requested, and that no contracts for additional services be presented or signed at the scene during the immediate aftermath of an incident. Our intent in bringing this matter forward is not punitive, nor do we not have any personal grievances with the firm in question. Our sole objective is to protect our residents, maintain scene control and safety, and ensure that existing policies are followed consistently and appropriately. Thank you for your time and consideration. We would welcome the opportunity to discuss this matter further if additional information or clarification is needed. Thank you.
Well, and for the record, may each of you state your name and address and affiliation. So it's pre-recorded, so.
I'd like to add to that if I could, just a recap. My name's Mark Orno, Fire Chief for Union Volunteer Fire Department. I have no problem with the rotation. I think that's fine. I think the rotation, and this is in layman's term, should be for board up only to make the scene safe. I don't feel that a homeowner should have to make a decision. They need some time to digest what just happened to them. They just lost their house. After that cooling off period, whatever it may be, now the homeowner can get bids or talk to whoever in regards to, even talk to their insurance company first, rather than signing a contract on the spot. And I don't like this on-scene solicitation. That's my biggest pet peeve. And further, one last thing is, to get on the list, this list is brand new and it's not an ordinance, it's a policy. To get on this list, you had a window of 10 days, I believe, and I don't know if everybody was made aware of that. I'm a plumbing contractor also in Porter County. If I go to do a plumbing job, it doesn't matter what town I'm in. If I'm not licensed, I provide my certificate of insurance, my bond, whatever they need, my license, certificate of insurance, and So I take that, doesn't matter if it's July, August, September, I get my license and I do the job. If you're not on this list in the beginning of January, you cannot get on the list until next January. And I don't agree with that. So I agree there should be a list. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the rotation. I don't like how you put on the list, and I don't like it extending beyond protecting the homeowner.
Okay. Hunter, identify yourself for the record.
Yeah, Hunter Cassidy, Battalion Chief, Union Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay. Thank you. Nadal?
Nadal Mepan with the firm.
Okay, and address,
6831 Trailside, Portage.
Okay.
Evan Griffiths, sales manager of the firm, 2174 Stony Street, Portage, Indiana.
Okay. Thank you. Chairman?
Thank you for that comment as well. So, do we want to discuss that now, Mr. Trustee, or do we want to go through
it's up to you, but my comment would be that it's a policy. It's not a law or an ordinance, so that makes a difference too. I have reviewed the document. not doing anything, from a legal standpoint, and we have our attorney here who I believe has looked at it as well. But, I have spoken to the county commissioners that passed this, and I have spoken to the council too. They said it's a commission, situation. And, basically, we as a township, as I understand, don't have any role in the matter other than that we have a contract with the Union Volunteer Fire Department. So, and it was I was identified that it was for 911 emergency call if the homeowner didn't have somebody, and the homeowner is free to choose at any time whoever they choose to have to do the work. Mr. Patton, would you like to, comment?
Well, I would just say for purposes of full disclosure that I have represented and do represent Mr. Nabhan and his business on collection matters, and other things involving his businesses. It is a policy by the commissioners. I think it was forwarded to you by the trustee. It's not, doesn't have the effect of an ordinance. It's a policy, and it says within the policy, that it's to be used by Porter County 911 and the fire department serving unincorporated Porter County. And it's, it's supposed to be a rotation list, so everybody can, I guess, have a fair shake at it. When I spoke to George the other day, it's kind of, I liken it to how sheriff's departments, police departments don't show favoritism to one tow truck driver for every time that they pull someone over who's driving while suspended to DUI and just calls up the same tow truck company each and every time. It's a rotating list, so there's no quote unquote favoritism. The policy was just, it's not perfect. It was just implemented and signed in December, and it did have a short window for, as the chief said, for people to sign up. I have no idea who got on the county's list.
I was told by the commission that there are two companies on that list.
Yeah. And I think the reason for the call out is some of the things that are stated in this letter, so that a bunch of people coming to the scene of an emergency situation and creating other distractions. But if there's, two on the list, I guess, whoever the chief or whoever he designates is in charge of, when there's no homeowner there that has made the decision to call out, and, the next person, if it's just two, each, every other time you call the other guy. So.
Does the county do any type of evaluation? I would assume that they do, that whoever signs up on the list does have proper insurance and bonds and credentials and abilities, or could I go put my name on the list?
I think you could probably attempt to put your name on the list. It's such a new policy. I mean, it's,
Right.
not
I think there was a clause
days.
said that they had to be qualified.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
If you want me to answer that, I can answer.
Sure.
So yeah, you have to provide your COI for your insurance, you have to provide your license, you have to provide background checks, you have to provide all of those things to the county to even get accepted onto it. Right, so if you're not a licensed contractor, you're not gonna be able to get on. Furthermore, this is the thing. My family's been in the fire service for a really long time, and I've been in public service for a really long time. So I know how this works, okay? When I started this venture, wanted nothing more than a fair rotating list. I don't have the manpower to do every single board up. I don't want to do every single board up. There's over 100 fires that happen in Porter County a year. All I want is a fair rotating list, okay? And essentially the fire department's role in this is strictly board up, okay? I can tell you this much, being a business owner for the last 9 years now doing this type of work. Do you know how profitable boarding up houses is? It's not, because the insurance company pays very little to board up houses. Boarding up houses is not a profitable business, okay? It's pretty much a community service. going out there, boarding up the house to make sure it's safe for the community. That's all it is, okay? Now, while these ordinances, state that the company is supposed to go out there and do the board up, right? That is the only thing that the government, if you will, controls, okay? When we go out to do a board up, our contract is only for the board up. We don't have homeowners sign a contract to do a complete rebuild of the house, okay? Furthermore, if a homeowner says, hey, you know what, I do want you to do it, Indiana law states that any contract that anyone signs with the contractor, they have 3 days to move out of that contract with no issues, okay? So there's a lot of safeguards in place for that, okay? My company offers way more than board up services to homeowners, okay? We can board up their house, but because of the board up list, we never go to homeowners and solicit the board up, okay? If another company was called for the board up, I don't want the board up. They can do the board up. That's fine. But my company owns several houses within Porter County that are sitting vacant right now, completely furnished with utensils and bedding and all those types of things, so that someone in a fire could literally take their family and go right to it, okay? So that's a service that we offer clients that are going through this kind of event. We do offer the entire rebuild of the house, but what we also do is at our shop in Portage is we also do the contents of the home. So if there's things inside the house that are able to be saved, we will go in there, and we are internationally certified to clean contents, bring them back to a condition, and then return them back to a homeowner, okay? So we offer a lot of services that, frankly, the government has no business in, okay? There's no law that says that Union Township or a fire department can tell me that I can't offer my business's services to someone, okay? Last time I checked, the roads are public, and I'm allowed to be on them, okay? So we do not solicit a board up, okay? We go there and try to offer to the homeowners services that we do provide, that they will need. You understand what I'm saying, okay? So there's a lot of moving parts here, and frankly, I agree with him. The window was short. Sure was. I made it happen, okay? The company that he called that didn't make the list, okay, is a nationally franchised business that missed the deadline. It's not my fault, okay? And honestly, I wouldn't even care if the commissioners said, hey, give us your stuff, and got them on the list, because I believe in a fair list. Even to this day, I still believe in a fair list. That wouldn't bother me, okay? What bothers me, though, is that when you have this monopoly that's gone on for so long, and that things have changed, that we still don't want to change when we know things are wrong, okay? Like, this doesn't exist with tow truck companies because people have gone to prison for it. I don't know why the fire department has operated this way for so long. I have no idea. So all I'm asking for is for it to be fair, and for whoever's next on the list to be the person that's called. Lastly, before we started this meeting, did anyone even know what a board-up company was?
Yes.
Very few people know if their house is on fire that someone has to board it up, or that they care, right? If you're a homeowner, you're dealing with a lot of other things, okay? So this phenomenon of all of a sudden now, every single homeowner all of a sudden automatically just wants to call their own contractor, when for the last 10 years no homeowner has ever asked for a specific contractor. It's kind of weird. Like, I've been in the fire service. I've never had a homeowner say, hey, I've got a specific contractor that wants to board my house up. Just hasn't happened. Now, some people know buddies that are contractors or something like that. That's one thing. But it's not a common occurrence.
This may have been because, the person, I happen to know whose fire it was, and I know that there's a, close community there, so I can't speak for it, but maybe
Yeah,
the
I'm
fire
pretty
chief
sure
can.
he's real tight-knit with a company in Griffith.
Well, I'm just saying that the homeowner, I think, knows those people, so I can't speak to it exactly, but I knowing the person and knowing,
Unfortunately, sir, I've heard that story.
okay. Well,
I hear what you're saying.
In this case,
But-
I believe it, you know, I have experience in law enforcement as well. Just my opinion, it may be the case that these people were known to this particular homeowner.
It's a possibility.
Okay.
So, the main purpose here that I feel on behalf of the fire department isn't the board of service or anything further of that matter. My own real estate company that I work for has contracted with the firm for insurance purposes and stuff like that. They do a great job. Same thing with some of our tenants. However, the only issue that we really had was them coming on during an active fire scene, whether that be the street or wherever, right? We still got tankers running up and down the street, that sort of thing. And so clearly states in the Board of Commissioners policies that they're prohibited from appearing at the scene unless dispatched via the rotation list or requested by the property owner, which neither of those occurred. That was our only issue is to be addressed tonight, so.
Chairman, I don't know that we have any, well, I'll leave it to our attorney. I don't know what our,
As a township.
what the township,
Right.
other than
The county.
perhaps,
the county
I have talked to the county commissioners and council. One of the councilmen was going to show up, but his wife has had some issues, so he just notified me he won't be in attendance. But I have spoken to, one of the commissioners particularly on this, and, they're aware of the situation, and I explained that we were gonna have a meeting, and I'll talk to them again, and I don't know that what role the township trustees and board actually have, but I'll leave that up to Mr. Patton.
I mean, the commissioner's policy is a policy until they change it or until the township adopts its own. And I think where we're kind of splitting hairs is what Nadal is saying, we're not showing up to board up, and that's what this policy is. We're showing up to see if we can assist the homeowner with things after the board up, or other than the board up, for immediate housing, or for repair, you know, to the home or whatever. So that's where we're kind of splitting hairs. So, yeah, if they're showing up to say we want to board up and we haven't been called, that's technically a violation of the policy, but he's saying that's not why we're showing up. So I get and hopefully everyone can appreciate the nuances of the policy, and if either side or anybody thinks that the policy needs to be tightened up a little bit, maybe make those suggestions to the county, to the commissioners. But I think everybody's is correct in their position. They just need to see the others.
Right.
And ultimately, the homeowner is the one that makes the final decision,
Yeah.
if the homeowner's available.
Exactly.
If the homeowner's not available, then I think, the policy has a little more weight.
I think it's kind of like you have a crash out here in 30. If the driver doesn't know who they want or is unable to make a determination, but if they say, hey, I want Sandberg's, or I want Green's, or I want Fred's towing, they call Fred's towing. It doesn't go to the rotation and showing, well, hey, I'm showing up because I got extra stuff I can do for you. That's like the body shop showing up on an active crash scene going, hey, I can fix your car. I got a problem with that. That's a severe safety issue.
Right.
And I can understand that kind of scenario. Maybe it's more like, you know, the Uber driver showing up and say, hey, since you're on the side of the road, you don't have a ride, you need to ride. can I get you, you know, take you somewhere, just like he's saying, we got a place for you to stay. He's an Indiana State Trooper. His wife used to be on the Portage Township Fire Department. I would think that he's not going to create a situation that is gonna, and I haven't been there, so I'm not, I'm just saying.
I'm not directing that specifically at him.
No, I'm just saying.
But another firm
Sure.
who isn't there.
Yeah.
I've been in law enforcement 30 plus years as well. And there's been plenty of times of either somebody will pull up, hey, how about if I pull you out of the ditch?
Uh-huh.
And then they want $100, otherwise they're not gonna unhook the car.
Yeah.
That's why we have procedures
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff in place. And if this is a new policy, again, I don't think this is anything for the township.
I first
Yeah.
became
This is
aware of it
between
when
the
Nadal gave
county
me the
and
phone call.
that. And I'm not sure how the county can really say anything either, because we could then turn around as Union Township, develop our own policy and direct our fire department, hey, in board of situations, this is what our township policy is.
Yeah, and I know the city of Portage has adopted one, I'm not sure, and you probably know better than me if the city of Valparaiso or other towns.
Well, perhaps, we could get together at another time to kind of figure out what needs to be done to correct or improve the situation. And Ryan, I know
think,
you've got experience in this matter.
I think that would be a good idea moving forward, because, like I say, this can get into a very contentious, or it can be a very,
harmonious.
a constructive opportunity to bring everybody together, and then work with the county and say, hey, you just threw this thing together, and there's a short window, and people really don't even know how to implement this on the township level. I think there's a lot more steps that need to happen before we can really make a.
It just needs to be fine-tuned.
What's that?
It just needs to be fine-tuned.
Well, if we can,
Like
we
anything
can
else,
get
like
together,
anything new.
we can get together, we'll try to figure out, what improvements can be made to the policy, and see if we can have it amended by the commissioners. But,
Listen, I agree with everything everyone just said. Absolutely. Okay? Part of what he said. But I promise you, I did not go at this starting with going to commissioners and mayors. I started going at this by going to fire departments and the Porter County Fire Association, which I was very quickly ran off from, because one company was only doing it, okay? And I was trying to say, hey, listen, we should do something fair, we should do a rotating list like the tow list, and no one wanted to hear it, right? Which forced me to push to government agencies, right, people that are elected officials, to try to come up with a fair list, okay? So that's where we're at now, okay? This has been almost a 3-year battle to get to where we're at. Do I think the policy's perfect for Porter County? No. Do I think the policy's perfect for Portage? No. Okay? Do I think the window was short? I do. Okay? I saw it, I was like, oh man, I gotta get my whole office staff getting these documents ready to go. Okay? These are all things I think all of us can agree on. Okay?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
For
whatever
sure.
I said wasn't disparaging towards you. It wasn't directed at you. I'm just saying overall, because you're doing one thing your way, and you are above board the way you're doing it. I want to make sure that's clear. But we've all seen, especially in Northwest Indiana, that other companies come in and they try to shortcut something here, and then that's where it starts tumbling down.
Yeah,
here.
no,
We need to make
absolutely.
sure we're
And-
locked in.
we
And
want to
just
be fair to everybody, including the homeowner, because the homeowner, both bottom line, is the one that should be entitled to make the decision about their property, so.
Yeah, and, just like the assistant chief said, right? If my guy comes there and someone and a fire department representative says, hey, we're busy right now, we need you to leave, my guys are going to leave, okay? They know there is no getting in the way. That is absolutely not okay, okay? I know how chaotic fire scenes can be. So that 100% will not happen. If it does happen, I'm gonna be upset about it, okay? There is a state law, okay, that actually says that you're supposed to stay 25 feet away from active police and fire scenes. So if my guys get there and they approach the fire chief, say, hey, this is who we are, we wanna offer some service, they say, hey, not right now, my guys are instructed to make sure they're 25 feet away from the scene, okay? It's the best I can do.
Oh, no,
Best I can do, right? We're trying to follow all the rules, all the regulations. We don't wanna be in the way. I know how chaotic tanker plans can be. We don't wanna be in the way of that. That's not it at all, okay? But also, being in the fire service, and my wife being in the fire service, we also know the shortfalls of what happens after a fire, okay? Firemen put the fire out, and they try to help, and Red Cross does what they can, okay? But fires are super traumatic, and, you know, sometimes, you know, people aren't like a good neighbor, and sometimes you're not in good hands, okay? And we have worked really hard to try to make sure that people within our community are taken care of. And that we have something for them to make sure after a traumatic event like this, that they can go somewhere, or they have options, okay? If they don't pick my company, that's fine, okay? The insurance company has a lot of third-party vendors that work only for them, and if they wanna pick them, that's also okay. But we, by any means, anytime a company, I don't know, I mean, obviously I'll get a copy of the statement that was made by the fire department. I have no idea what it means referencing some of our contracts and getting complaints from customers. I've never once not let a customer out of a contract. If they want out of a contract, I let customers out of contracts. Unhappy customers are not customers I want, okay? And most of our clients come into our office, which is in Valpo, a couple days after, and we go through everything with them. At no point are they forced to stay in our contract or anything like that after hearing the things that we offer.
The more I talk to everybody, it sounds like there's more miscommunication and a hectic scene and environment, so I think this is a workable and, opportunity for everybody to work together and come up with something that's good for Union Township and, for the county in general.
I guess we could volunteer to talk to you about what we can recommend to the commissioners, but, as far as anything else, I don't know that the trustee can take any action other than, try to help make it better, whatever we can do.
And I don't see where this is really in our purview in this department.
Yeah, I think probably the best thing is that, you know, no pun intended, both sides have boots on the ground at these scenes, from the fire department side to the, you know,
Mitigation.
board up and mitigation, other assistance side, if they have suggested revisions to the current policy, that they should put those in writing and communicate that to the commissioners.
That would be a great idea. Because anything new, it's all theory until it goes into practice, and that's when you gotta make your changes.
That's why
Law
the general,
books have gotten a lot thicker over the years.
that's why this General Assembly meets every January to make amendments to things they've already passed.
Well, I'd like to thank you for presenting, the information to us and, see what we can do in, making amendments to whatever the county, decides to do. But again, we don't have an official policy, and you were the first one to identify the policy. When you notified me, that was the first I had seen that, and then I got a copy of it and I went through it and, you know, I don't know what else to say, but thank you for coming and presenting the information to us.
I guess my question is, is it, like, we have a policy that includes this township? Does this
Well,
town-
we follow the policy that the county does, but, I'm the executive, this is the board. The board is like the legislative body, and they're the decision makers when it comes to, specifics, and then I don't know that we can give you an answer right now. Word?
It sounds to me it's more between
Yeah,
the firm,
right.
the fire department, and downtown Valpo and downtown county.
The county.
To figure out how, it's gonna be enforced and how it's
Yeah, and then
gonna be mitigated.
we
'Cause it's
we
not-
try to comply
We
with.
don't set the policy of the fire department, we contract with them for fire service.
And I could probably answer that just directly to you, is we do follow this policy. This is the first time we've had to request board up since this policy has gone into effect, and it was a homeowner request. So if there's no homeowner present, of course, we're gonna follow the policy and the
And
rotation.
I do know that it said that if the homeowner decides, and in this case, the homeowner is someone I know, and, I can't answer specifically what happened there, nor do I intend to, but, the bottom line, the homeowner gets to decide who they want to have, doing it. If there's nobody available, then the rotational policy is totally in effect from what I understand. And gentlemen, I don't know if you've all had a chance to look at the policy that I think I forwarded to each and every one of you, but I have another copy of it here, if you'd like it. And, Clay, do you have any comments? Is there anything else that we need to do at this point?
I think we've done about all we can do tonight.
I think so. So, Brian, if you want, Brian and I can be the contact points if you guys wanna, go further with it.
If it's all right with the board, I'll be more than happy to meet up and just, not to say we're gonna come up with our own individual policy, but come back with an overview of the discussions of the more specifics is.
Yeah.
If it's all right with you guys, I'd be more than happy.
I think we need more input.
That would be perfect, cause it sounds like there's a new policy in place, and if there's some growing claims that come along with that, maybe some, tweaks, changes that might be required. It's a valuable service that, people are buying to provide, and that we take for granted unless the situation happens to us. And then, with background working at the mill and stuff, you can't argue safety first. And when there's something going on and it is an active scene, fire department is in charge. And frankly, I'm surprised that 25 feet is the limit, is for electioneering, I think it's 50 feet. So it could be more dangerous, right?
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Something very
Okay.
good. I didn't realize that you had services for people. It's
Yeah.
like going to a hotel for a week, they're able to contract with you for a period of
Yeah,
time.
because.
Well,
That's
this
Ready
is,
to go. I think that's a
Yeah.
great service for the community.
this is the thing, I could talk to you all day about it, right, but, like, I have worked really hard within this industry, like, I am a court-appointed expert at insurance claims and construction when it comes to these types of losses, and I specifically do that to help homeowners, okay?
Speaking of that, from a different point of view, as a trustee, occasionally, not very often, I have to find housing for people without homes. I don't know if that's something that would be within the ballpark of what we can do, but, it would be short term. I don't know, you said that you had.
We do, yeah, that's something that we could look into, but we have essentially identified, hey, these are issues that occur, right? And when it comes to your insurance and having to go somewhere, hotels are very expensive, okay? And they eat up a lot of people's, what they call additional living expense, which is a part of your policy, and then they end up getting in a trick bag with that. And it makes it very difficult for the homeowners with whatever contractors that we're working with, or trying to get their home rebuilt, okay? And these are things that I had no clue about when I was in the fire service. I didn't understand it, and I wasn't sure how it worked, okay? Now that I do and have become educated on it, it's opened my eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, people need way more help than we think, okay? Even down to now, like, all of us public service know that, PTSD and things like that is a big thing with seeing all of these traumatic events, right? Even down to, we have contracted with a company that's here locally out of Chesterton that will offer counseling services to people that have gone through fires, literally for free, and go through the insurance company. Okay, we've tried to figure out, and that's nothing I get paid on, right? But we've tried to figure out ways to help our community, because these things are terrible, and they're really hard on families, and I didn't know before. So there's a lot of services that we try to get out. to the community that most people just don't know.
And to that effect, maybe that's something that we as a board may wanna look at and see if we're able to legally contract with you for some of the services that we normally contract out to
What's a hotel,
the Holiday
whatever.
Inn or the Super 8 or wherever. If we're able to put them in a better situation and provide them a better benefit at the same cost of the township, that sounds like a win-win-win to me. So I think those are things that we'll have to talk about when we meet in the future.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the input. And you're welcome to stay or go, whatever you choose to do.
I really want to hear the budget though.
Val, pleasure to meet you. Have a nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Mark, good to see you as always. Hunter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we'll coffee
Yeah.
collection and we'll sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were.
He's gonna be here next time though.
No, that's next meeting.
Next meeting, he'll make a presentation.
I know.
What's that?
Meeting.
Huh? Pig roast?
I didn't think it.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks again, guys.
Hi, boys.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Hunter.
All right.
Okay.
I have one other thing under public comment, if I may, and I'll make it brief. The Wheeler Post Office situation has raised its head again, and you can expect an article in the newspaper by Doug Ross. I think I forwarded the information to you from one of our Wheeler residents about the situation. It's also on Facebook, so I've contacted Senator Banks, Senator Young, Frank Mervan's office. In the past, I've contacted Senator Charbonneau and Julie Olthoff, who is a representative for the Wheeler area. She has 3 precincts out of the 7 that we have here in the township. And on this situation, I called the U.S. Postal Service yesterday and today. I haven't gotten through to them. I left a message. And I've called the governor's office. And I've been working on this for about 3 years now. And I haven't dropped the ball. I just don't have the clout to get anything done. And I've also notified Porter County and the council and other people in the area, including disabled people who live in the Wheeler area where they're not receiving mail. I've asked for different alternative solutions and whatnot. And so you've seen the email from Matthew Backus, who's a business owner in St. John who resides in Wheeler and has to go to Hobart during the day within a 3-hour window to pick up his mail. It makes it very difficult for someone who's active like that, and other people who can't drive are unable to get to pick up their mail during that 3-hour window, Monday through Friday. At least this is what I understand. And I can't identify the exact number, but I think it's approximately 50 homes south of 130 in Wheeler that don't get home delivery. And the post office is still suspended, the one that we signed the contract in November. So we, and the office of the township trustee, has done everything that we, and it's not in our bailiwick, but we're trying to help to get postal service back to these people, and we really want to help as much as we can. So we're working on it, and I just wanted to, on behalf of Mr. Backus and the other people that have contacted me from Wheeler, including gentlemen from the fire department who've been here because they're aware of the situation too. If you have any questions or any way we can generate more input to the Postal Service and our elected U.S. officials, because the governor's office told me they'll do what they can, but it's not not their job, so to speak. So, if anybody can get together with a letter writing campaign, or we can do anything to add to, getting help for these people, we'd be happy to do it. And any suggestions that anybody has, we'll see what we can do to make something happen. But it's been going on for a long time, and I think it's time to, while this pot's being stirred, we need to keep it going. That's all.
So I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that.
There's a lot to it.
But in the interim, until the post office is willing to, maybe continue down the path that we started before about building a new structure,
I had asked for a post office stand like they have, and if we had to pay for it, I would suggest that we pay for it if that's something that we could do. But I don't know that we can do that.
George, when we were talking to the post office, August and September, and we got as far as.
Well, we've been talking to her a long time.
Yeah.
We had a contract, they just didn't sign it.
So that's gonna be my question. So when did the post office tell you that everything was on hold? And was it a letter?
At the beginning of the year.
Just this January,
yeah.
first or whatever, or beginning of
Might have been the end of December.
Was it a letter?
It was a phone call from Denver.
And what did they say?
They said that all projects for the U.S. Postal Service are being reevaluated at this time. It doesn't mean that we don't have the possibility to open it up. But as some people in Wheeler have told me, I don't care if we have a post office. I need mail delivered here because I can't cross 130 to go to a post office anyway. And they had mail delivered to their homes 3 to 5 years previously. They had mailboxes or home delivery. They do not have that now. And it seems to be, and I can't guarantee that I'm giving you factual information, but based on my information, it seems to be about 50 homes south of 130 in that pocket there that they won't deliver to.
You're talking between 650 and
yeah,
right over the railroad
in
tracks.
Wheeler, we're the automotive repair place across the railroad tracks and south of the railroad tracks. Now, the Bison Ranch, they get home delivery, and that's not far away. So it's, based on what he put in here, it's got the law, which I don't know if, I haven't looked at the law itself, but it's supposed to be, home delivery is supposed to be available.
That would be a legal action against the postal service, but I mean,
Yeah.
in the first instance,
Not by the township.
George, my advice to you is to get something in writing from the post office, given either a timeline or given their stance as to why, that you could then give a copy to.
Well, I'm still waiting for the return phone calls and maybe you could help me articulate a letter so I can send.
Well, it wouldn't be a letter from you. You need a letter from the post office that you could.
No, a letter from, I'll sign it on behalf of the board to get a timeline or something like that, but I would like to have some input from somebody from the board so that the board would be, and not just me sending them a letter. Cause I've talked to them and I need to know exactly where.
Has anyone from Postal Service, why just that small pocket doesn't get home?
Well, it's very difficult we can go, when Senator Braun was a senator, Tony Ferraro, his representative locally, who is now the governor's representative, and I've spoken to him too. He says it's not something that he can do, but he will talk to the senator's offices. And I have spoken with them last week, and I'm, part of what I was going to make in the trustee report is that I'm going to possibly see him Friday at lunch. That's Senator Young. But there's no guarantee that I can get anything. Basically, I have to deal with the people that he works with. I called Congressman Mervan's office, spoke to somebody in Washington, and we've contacted them in the past, and so have this gentleman has. He's copied Mervan's office on this, and I was going to copy Young and Banks on this as well, because it's got to be a U.S. but it's a separate corporation. It's not easy. It's like, they say City Hall, fighting City Hall. Well, this is fighting the U.S. Postal Service and trying to find the right target to get something done is not easy. And the Hobart Postmaster is, maybe we can make it another trip up there. I haven't done that in a while, but I've not had much success in the past.
Why did they go to the Hobart Postmaster and not the Buffalo Postmaster?
Because it's a Hobart address. It comes under their office. That's where the mail goes through. If you look, we have 7 zip codes, I believe, in Union Township, and one of the more prevalent ones is Hobart. So their mail is often identified as Hobart for Wheeler. Wheeler still has a zip code, but that's basically the post office boxes that were in Wheeler.
I would suggest this is not just a Union Township issue, but Porter County, so.
Well, Winfield's got a problem too.
I would get, Porter County Council and Commissioners.
They've sent letters in the past.
And get maybe a letter signed by all elected officials who represent Wheeler. And send that off.
Julie Olthoff has also been contacted on that. She's a state rep.
So it doesn't necessarily need to be Union Township leading the charge on this. It can be.
No. I think we can be part of it.
Sure.
Because it's not the role of the township to do this from the way I understand township responsibilities. I think we need to represent our people because we have no city or town.
They're frustrated because they're not being provided a service that they used to be provided and they anticipate.
Many of them still think they are a town. They dissolved in about 1968 as a town.
It takes time.
Pardon me?
It takes time for the word to go out.
So, and that's when Portage became a town, and Portage is, continued to grow. And since they don't have a mayor, I mean, we're the closest form of government they have, so we try to help them. That's all I have. I'm not going to continue on with any more of the trustees' report, other than the fact that I have been appointed as the Porter County Commission representative for conventions, economic development, and tourism, and have attended a couple of meetings one meeting with the tourism board, and I met with Portage on, they identified their area that they are promoting for the relocation of the Chicago Bears. And there's a total of 5 locations that I'm aware of, 3 in Gary, 1 in Hammond, and the 1 in Portage, which would be north of the Nerfsey location. And World's Finest Chocolate would also be located in that area, from what I understand, as a destination for fine chocolates. If anybody knows what World Finest Chocolate is, that's the ones that sell through schools and things. There. So, anyway.
If you get the Bears to move to Union Township, I can assure you a post office.
Well, it would be in Portage Township. Be in Portage Township. Mayor Bonta is not opposed to having
more
them there.
vacant land.
600 and some acres south of the marina and north of Nerfsey. Okay. On the northwest side of the intersection, just north of 94.
Right off the expressway and right off the South Shore tracks.
Right, and they also have the trains going.
Yeah, perfect with the train.
Mm-hmm. Trains will be right there.
It's real easy to put in a quarter-mile spur and drop right off. In and done on a half-mile loop. But,
mm-hmm. And they're acquiring another 65 acres to complete the package, from what Andy Miletta has told me. And we're meeting. I've invited Andy Miletta and Christine from the tourism board, director of tourism board, to come to our NERC meeting next, I think it's the 11th, for economy in place. I'm still chair for that particular board of NERC. We meet quarterly typically. And you're all welcome to come. It's a public meeting. And it'll be also I think they're all live.
What day are those normally?
That one's on, Wednesday,
First Wednesday of the month?
10 o'clock. No, it's quarterly. I think it's the 11th. I have to look. I think it's the 11th, 10 o'clock. Iman Ibrahim is the, NERC person who coordinates those meetings. We also have the Indiana Forum has a representative at that meeting, and, it's Andy Vasquez is, from Porter County, councilman. He attends those meetings. He's on that board also. And a number of other people are realtors, and, it's sometimes interesting. Can't say all meetings are interesting. That concludes my report for now, unless I think of something else. But wait, there's more.
Thank you.
No, that's.
Yeah. So I think that, covers the trustees' report, public comment, and also, some of our unfinished business items. Let's loop back and, make sure we get a signed copy of our, meeting minutes from January 6th. And I see the revisions we talked about before have been. Okay, thank you.
After you sign them, if you have one for the file, I would appreciate it, so I can make sure I have it in an identifiable location for filing.
Do you want a signed copy for your records? I like having a signed for mine, and we got one for you, George.
Thank you.
Then, moving on to new business. Thank you, Aaron, for your patience.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron, this came up at the last minute.
The first new business item is, review of the 2025 annual report.
You all should have a copy of this thing. Every year you go through this all has to be reviewed and approved by the end of February. Townships always have to meet prior to that so that you have time to actually do it. So you guys are in compliance there. The important page is really page 2, where it gives you a summary of the funds, how much money you brought in, how much you spent, and how much you're ending with. Most important thing is that you're ending with more money than you started the year with. And you've had a few years of that trend, so it's going in the right direction completely. A very important note to make is that you also spent less than budget, which is impressive. A lot of units kind of struggle to do that. But you brought in a little more than we anticipated, and you spent less than anticipated, so in the right direction on both sides of that. There weren't any major expenditures that were out of the ordinary. It was a pretty standard year for the most part. You fell in line with your budget, a little under, but pretty much on par with how it has been in the past. There are a few miscellaneous pages that I didn't include in the package because it gets to be 30 pages of kind of repetitive information. But the first few are just the revenues, and then after that, the expenses that come in. Are there any questions you guys have about? You do have a resolution to be signed as well, just saying you guys took a look at it. I made 2 copies, and then you guys start to sign multiple.
Thank you for preparing the annual report.
I think George also provided papers from the actual financial software, which mirror exactly what the annual report does to you. Yeah. But the same information.
So we need a motion to, approve the resolution.
Could you say that louder? I'm not sure that the, microphone's picking that up.
So this is a resolution to approve the 2025 annual report so it can be published.
Correct.
motion to approve it. We have a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. And now we can sign it.
We will need to post in the newspaper a summarized version, a little one pager that shows basically every page.
Okay. I don't know if we need two of these or not. We'll provide two. Thank you. And then, I believe we may have another resolution about the, rainy day fund.
Correct. As with the past few years, you get to do an annual transfer from your fire fund into your rainy day to kind of build up a fund in the rainy day for you to spend on things that come up that weren't necessarily budgeted for. So it's the same as last year, it's $30,000. And on the annual report, you can see the amount of money you have in the fire fund. You have almost $400,000, and you actually made the same exact transfer last year. It's the same thing going forward. It's just would bump that up a little bit in case there's new contracts you want that you didn't necessarily originally thought you'd have, or helping build something.
Those items would be the things that we discussed when we came through with what we were gonna do with the fund last fall. As far as, identifying projects, cemetery fix-up plans.
Yep. Right, we had a list of
Many different issues that we discussed for projects.
And we'll probably need to do an updated capital improvement plan late summer, coming up again. It's probably gonna be an annual thing where we have to update that same report with potentially what we didn't spend in 2026 and what we anticipate to spend in another future year, which I think would take us to 2030 plan. But it should be easy this time around, since this past year was the first time we were doing it.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that capital improvement plan was due like around September or so.
It was due kind of a weird time at the very beginning of the budget season. I believe it was the end of September. But we were able to get it in. Yeah, it was kind of hectic to try to fit the meetings and forth.
And is that gonna be the same this year as far as you know, or is that date maybe gonna shift some?
There have been no changes to the dates. It doesn't align perfectly with budget season because they're technically two separate things, but there is word of the state amending some of the law that was passed that that's a part of. So could there be changes? Yes. As of now, we've got no actual direction that there will be changes to any dates though.
Okay.
So we can anticipate the same timeline, just way more prepared this time going into it.
Right.
And in your work with other townships, we voiced our concern over the past several months of restricting the funds because we want to make sure that the funds that originate in Union Township stay in Union Township, right? And so we're trying to follow the new law that they passed. Is the type of language that we included in our capital improvement plan similar to the other townships that you've worked with? Or are we way over our skis, either being too vague or too specific?
Specifically with our townships, we were going on the side of add too much just in case. You can never add too much unless you start citing other laws and then you start kind of shoehorning yourself to follow these laws. So we tried to overcommit to what they had just passed. You guys were pretty in line with what we did for others. Some wanted to be more vague. Yours was a little more specific than others actually, to the point where it's probably safe to say there isn't going to have any kind of fallback from being posted. And also, I haven't heard from any of our clients of them receiving notification that there was errors with their capital improvement plan. And it's almost a year later now that we probably would have heard something. At least budgets were approved. Your budget was approved for 26. It probably would have been heard if they had issues with the capital improvement plan around the same time. So as of now, you guys are okay. We will probably get some kind of DLGF memo sent out coming this summer, right before everyone starts ramping up on this kind of work, capital improvement plan and budget. They might have new suggestions for us, or they might have a new template saying, okay, we're confident this template, if you just follow this to the letter, you'll be good to go. It wouldn't hurt to do that, because this year we kind of had to create some things on our own with some assumptions that we didn't have direction on. So hopefully we get something a little more concrete this year, but you guys should be okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Here's a resolution for the transfer. I did print two for it too.
And I'll make the motion to transfer $30,000 to the rainy day fund. Do we have a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Again, I'm glad we were able to get that in place and to begin funding it.
It took a long time, but we finally got there, didn't we?
Yes. Do we have any other new business we'd like to discuss? Thank you, Aaron, for talking us through both those important agenda items. So, moving on, I guess our next meeting, unless there's a need for anything else in the interim, particularly with some of the public comment we had earlier in this meeting, would be our budget workshop type meeting. And I think we normally have that in the June, July type time period. So, are you aware of anything else, George or Aaron?
I heard from the fire department that by July we may have the new ladder, but now with all the expenses, it might be closer to 1.9 million. So that's a concern. But if we were to order it today, probably closer to 3 million for prices have gone up. We ordered that 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so it's been over 3 years. I'm quite sure. I don't remember the exact date of the order, but we've had the last truck that came in was April 23rd, 3 years ago already. Yeah. And I call that St. George because it came in on a St. George feast day. April 23rd.
If that one's coming in July, we probably want to be here in June, just to make sure we have all of our I's dotted and T's crossed for.
And also, if I may ask Mr. Patton to
Very astute.
yes, be prepared when the fire department's going to be here at our next meeting to discuss titling of the property. Mr. Patton, got any comments?
What's to discuss? I mean, if we're buying the trucks, they should be titled in the township's name.
Yeah, well, the fire department will be here, and then I've explained that to them too, but I'm not sure that they're still 100% on board with that, but it should be. I concur.
We want to meet before.
Yeah.
I just want to have it go smoothly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're parking in front of George's house.
Right.
And you're keeping the key. A couple lanes of these, right? I'll get my 9 grandkids on there and we'll all ride around and have fun. Extreme 110-foot ladder.
Do we have,
Neighbors would love it.
do we have another meeting scheduled?
When is our next meeting? Do we have a date?
Well, that's what we're talking about right now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It sounds like we definitely want to have one before the truck is delivered. So that would, if budget workshop's normally June, July, and we think the truck's going to be delivered in July, that would mean we'd need to meet, it probably in the June type time frame. Does anybody have any conflicts in June that they know of, or?
I think Daniel told me that he's going to be out of town. Do you remember what his dates are that he's going to be out of town, Aaron?
Daniel will be out of town the last 2 weeks of June.
And I know that I'm meeting with him early June, I think.
should we, maybe target the second week of June? Then like maybe the ninth or 10th or something like that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I wouldn't be available the 10th if we're meeting in the evening.
Why don't we target the 9th then? Target 6/9/26 at 6 o'clock work for everybody, including the guy that was 2 minutes late.
And we are not having another meeting in a couple of weeks because the fire department was gonna make a presentation. Should I just see if I can get a presentation, you know, from their annual report? Because they're meeting next Monday.
Their board meeting.
Yeah, their board meeting,
Yeah.
and then they were gonna give us a report
Yeah.
on what they accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, we could,
See, March, April, May, there's a possibility we might be able to have a short one in between there.
right, yeah.
Well, and just so I know what to tell them, I mean, if you wanna wait until then to get the annual report from them, because we'll also have a, annual financial, budget review that will be due from them at that time too.
In the spring or in June?
It's due in June, I believe, by June, I don't remember if it's June 1st or July 1st, I think it's June.
So would we wanna meet, sometime between now and June for, you know, specific agenda item just to talk with the fire department, or?
Well, I don't think we have to decide tonight, but I would like to be able to identify to them when it might be sometime soon.
April-ish, just say somewhere in April now. If they wanna give us the bullet points of what they're gonna,
And then
Provide
make the
to us.
presentation at our next meeting in June, that, I can tell them that too. I would like to get some bullet points so that we,
I like that idea. If we get bullet points for them so that we can review
and then,
on our own time and then.
yeah,
If
review
we
it,
have
and we'll say, yeah,
questions,
you know what, we
ask
need to
them.
meet with them,
Yeah.
get some more
Right.
okay.
specifics, and we can just plan for the future when the future arrives.
I like that.
Sounds good. Yeah, 'cause I think I'm booked, even though I don't have it on here, I'm booked pretty much all the way until the second to last week of April, right now. So-
April and May will be.
And
tough for me
you have
for
baseball, yep.
And then I'll make it work.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably every.
and I'm still coaching golf too.
Right. Right, so.
Okay. Yeah.
We,
we-
weeks in March,
yeah.
I'll be gone, so.
Although I'm no longer the head coach, so I don't have that responsibility.
Okay. Yeah, I think that game plan will work, and if there is a need to meet between now and then, we can coordinate when everybody is available.
So the financial report is final, and I'll get with Aaron or Daniel that, we'll load it up and I'll get it published in the paper. And I think we only have to have one newspaper to publish it, and it's, I know I had difficulty and I needed Daniel to help me because you can't talk to a person anymore at the newspaper, you have to go through
It's online now.
yeah.
Oh, it's an online form? Cause I've been sending emails.
Yeah.
and there's never like a, okay, thanks.
Never a
It's just
kickback
like,
or
totally
thanks,
doing
right?
the black hole.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
will
Oh,
still
really?
accept
Oh.
email.
It's just like our notices that are supposed to be in the paper, but it's up to them whether they wanna publish it or not. And they don't typically.
You just save those emails that you sent it.
Yeah.
And
I hit
we're
send,
covered.
okay, I hope we're good,
We
yeah.
can't control whether they publish or
The
not.
line that says we don't pay for it.
Right.
Anyway, that should